I got to a point where I was telling the doctors enough diagnoses, enough trying to push medicine. She was on a couple medications.
Welcome back to Authentic Talks. This is episode 13, and boy, do we have an amazing show for you today. My guest, Sandie Becker, shares her personal journey on how holistic nutrition changed her life and her children's life. This podcast is all about authentic conversations. It's all about growth, love, respect, success, mind, body, and spirit. If you're looking to grow and expand in your life and become your authentic self, this is the podcast for you. We have a holistic nutrition wellness practitioner. She is certified as a behavior change specialist, a fitness nutrition specialist through the National Association of Sports Medicine. She is also currently studying to take the Holistic Nutrition Board exam through the National Association of Nutrition. She's also the face behind the Instagram page called In the Balance 3. I'm super excited to welcome Sandie Becker to the show today.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Welcome, Sandie. I'm super excited to have you. You are a certified behavior change specialist and fitness nutritionist. What does that mean when they say behavior change?
So behavior change it's looking at an individual's motivational triggers, and really trying to determine what their barriers are when they want to change, but they're having difficulty. We use intervention techniques, and, really it's an individualized program that fits with a client's personality. We look at their ability to change, and we kind of work with different interventions to help the clients individually.
I like that. That sounds really cool.
It's not a one size fits all. Everyone has their own little barriers that keep them from changing the things that they don't necessarily love.
You're currently studying to take the Holistic Nutrition Board exam, and a lot of people are starting to spark an interest in the holistic nutrition. What is holistic nutrition?
Well, really, when you look at holistic nutrition, look at the first word, holistic. So holistic is the whole. It's not individual parts, which is the difference between holistic and, our typical way of doing things in the Western world. We look at a symptom and we treat a symptom. So holistic is looking at the whole. It's a belief that the parts are intimately connected, and we can only figure out what's going on by addressing the entire whole. So it's really an approach to treating a whole person. We take into account the mind, the body, the spirit, and then we're looking at environmental factors as well. So it's not just the symptoms. So then when you add the nutrition aspect into it, you're looking at eating the right foods to bring the body to a healthy lifestyle where we want to reach optimal health. And we know nutrition is one of the biggest factors to be able to be as a whole, mind, body, and spirit.
Yeah, that's so true. So I think asking what are the benefits, you nearly answered it, but I'm going to ask that question anyway. What are some of the benefits you think are there for people overall?
Overall, there's so many benefits. And, a lot of times you might go to your doctor and, you might have symptoms and they don't really feel that they're anything major, and you get blown off. And I think we're seeing that a lot more because doctors aren't really trained in nutrition. The saying goes that if you've read one nutrition book, you have more training than a doctor in nutrition. And a lot of doctors will admit they're not trained in nutrition and what it does overall. They know the basics of nutrition. Overall, they don't know how much it benefits the body. I mean, you have weight loss and weight management, disease prevention, your energy levels, increasing energy levels, improving mood, better sleep, improved skin tone, texture, strengthening of the immune system. And really, the immune system, we always want it to be balanced. So, bringing the immune system to that balanced point really means that we shouldn't have to increase our nutrient levels when we get sick, because our immune system should be balanced enough to be able to do that on its own. Reducing cholesterol and blood pressure levels, improve digestion, relief from constipation. A lot of chronic illnesses, holistic nutritionists believe can be prevented or improved through diet. It's promoting the use of holistic nutrition to manage conditions or even get rid of them. You have diabetes, obesity, arthritis, heart disease, high blood pressure, cancer, colitis, gout. There's so many, really.
Yes. What are some of the types of foods that you would recommend? Is it like a special diet overall, or like where people are now having to add in more nuts, or is it like plant-based? What is it exactly?
It can be a lot of different things. The premise behind holistic is what we call soul food: seasonal, organic, unprocessed, local. So a lot of people don't believe in eating meat, and that's one of the things that holistic nutritionists work with, is the individualism. So it doesn't matter to us if you're a meat eater, if you're a vegetarian, if you're a vegan. We are going to individualize what you need. But the idea is to yes, we want our foods to be the purest form, natural, original state. So we're looking at foods preferably that are not processed.
What sparked your interest in for you taking this path in your life? You're about to get certified. You're taking your board exam.
It was kind of not something I had planned. I was a stay-at-home mom, and I had been working as a certified pharmacy technician and was considering going in to pharmacy school to become a pharmacist. I have 5 children, and at that time it was about, I think we're looking at 10 years now. My daughter, who is almost 17, was diagnosed, and she was struggling horribly. She was diagnosed with sensory processing disorder, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, general anxiety disorder, persuasive developmental disorder not otherwise specified, which is an autism diagnosis, impulse control disorder. She was just chaotic. Her entire being was chaos. I got to a point where I was telling the doctors enough diagnoses, enough trying to push medicine. She was on a couple medications. She was on a lot of medication. She was just having reactions to everything. So she was on a lot of different medications, and it was like our lives for our entire family, it was hard. There's no other way to put it. It was just hard. So, and I noticed things when she was young. When she was, she was starting on whole food, she would overstuff her mouth. And then we went to where she would eat nothing. She had like 3 things she would eat. She was difficult to potty train. She was always constipated. There were a lot of things I was noticing that she could hear, but she couldn't hear you. It was not processing. So there was a lot going on, and at the pushing of a friend who had heard about doctors called Dan doctors, it was Defeat Autism Now. She was pushing me. She's like, find one of these doctors. And I'm like, they're not covered by insurance. It's unaffordable. had every excuse in the book. So I finally did it, and I found a local chiropractor who really just became our hero. His name is Dr. Charles Majors. He had a nutritionist on staff. And between adjustments and diet and detoxing her, this is where I ended up. I mean, there's so much to the story. I could go on for an hour. It started with diet and her being adjusted by a chiropractor. I can't even tell you, I can't even express the leaps and gains she has made in her life. I mean, we could do a whole nother show on just her. So, two of my other children were diagnosed with ADD and general anxiety. And my youngest, who is now 11, was actually on the verge of being diagnosed OCD. So I just started researching. That became my life. I was researching food, sensitivities, allergies, GMOs, organic, the meat quality, the different aspects of all the different diets, nutritional supplements. Eventually, someone told me because I was sharing it. I was sharing it with everyone. I was telling everyone, you just wouldn't believe the difference this has made in our life. And a friend was like, Sandi, this is your passion. You don't even know it. I had my purpose.
Yes, that's amazing.
It is.
You noticed a huge difference like in once you changed your diet and
Right. So it was, I mean, she could literally destroy a room. My little girl could literally destroy a room with her outbursts. It was not her fault. She couldn't control. There were so many different things going on with her. She actually was right when we started with the chiropractor was when the school was like, we can't help her. She has to be moved. And she was sent out of district to a therapeutic day school. So, and it was just a different school with smaller classes that had a better understanding of these diagnoses. So she went there, and by the time she reached sixth grade, we were moving her back in district, and she just leaps and bounds, leaps and
wow.
bounds. And now she is a junior in high school. She, the high school has no idea how she ever was. And they go back and they read her paperwork and they're just amazed. But I mean, they've been wonderful. She has the ability now to graduate by the end of the summer. She has done so well.
Wow, that's a
Yeah.
beautiful story.
Yeah. She was in fourth grade before she could write a paragraph. Fourth grade.
Sandi, I sense a book in your future.
And you're about probably the 100th person that said that. Yeah, that is
Yes,
actually one of my projects that I've been working on.
I definitely would buy that book.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it is. You said you had another one child that was on the
Yes.
verge. Everything worked out for him as well.
Yes. Yes.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's
My
amazing.
oldest daughter was diagnosed in 2015 with chronic Lyme. And again, the same thing. We worked with diet. She was on a lot of supplements, um, a lot of natural food supplements and herbals that helped her. It's been amazing what we have found we can do with food and herbs.
It was meant for you to come on the show.
It was.
Do you know there's probably someone out there now who's going to hear this and say, I need to do this.
Right.
Where they were unsure if that's the direction they really wanted to go.
Right.
And that is super encouraging. And I'm happy that you pursued that option or went down that path. And you definitely are living within your purpose.
Thank you.
And that's, you know what I found out about purpose is that we have multiple purposes at different times in our life.
I totally agree with that. I
Yeah.
totally agree with that.
I can't wait for you to add author. I could totally see it.
Yeah, I can't either.
Yeah, what an
It's been a process.
what an amazing story. That's awesome. Well, you definitely it was meant for me to find you on Instagram too.
Yeah, I'm a huge believer in things happening for a reason.
Yeah, nothing happens by chance. It's like
Right.
it's yeah,
Nothing's a coincidence.
that's right. Well, you have me where I'm wanting to definitely dig a lot more and reevaluate the diet that I even have my kids on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wonderful. We should definitely talk.
Yeah, for sure. I'm definitely going to look more into that and pursue that. For someone who would want to go down that path, you mentioned that it's like it's individualized. Do you think that things like chicken nuggets, all that fast food, all of that stuff is not really healthy?
Right, because it's all processed. Like
Oh,
when we have chicken nuggets, I make my own.
right on.
Yeah, it's healthier. That's one of the big things that I really feel our country needs to do is get back in the kitchen.
I agree.
We just and teach our kids to cook.
That
Our
is so
our
true.
kids don't know how to cook. So it is. I mean, we're on this need for everything to be fast, and it doesn't always work that way. That's one of the things we work on too is meal prepping so that it can be fast. We can make healthy meals at the beginning of the week and they can be ready to go for the week.
So if you were helping me to do like a meal prep, do we sit down and go through all of the things that I like to eat? Or do
Right.
you?
Right. So we could, yeah, you just base it off of what you enjoy, what your favorite meals are. We work on a plan to make them healthier, like chicken nuggets. We're going to take chicken breast or chicken tenderloins and we're going to cut them and we're going to bread them and we're going to cook them instead of popping them in the microwave out of a package.
I like that.
So,
I
and
bet they
then they
taste much better.
Oh, they're amazing. They're amazing. And then they can be reheated throughout the week.
I think I'm actually going to get back to that. Really, in all honesty, because I am guilty. I know that we were probably most of 2019, we really did cook in our kitchen. And then I would have to say that once we got to the latter part of the year, we did the holiday cooking thing, and then like we were not that disciplined when it came to getting in that kitchen and cooking.
Right,
I would come home and I'm like, oh, I'm not feeling like it. And my husband would say, me either. So the meal prep,
right.
like that really will help us a lot. If I could just do that like on Sundays or,
And I think a lot of families feel that way. And even, even couples or people, single people, they have these busy lifestyles and they just they don't take the time to cook for themselves. Or they think they can't cook, when you have a single person, they think they can't cook just for them because then
mm-hmm.
they end up with too much. But I mean, the reality is that fresh food just it provides you with more energy and nutrients than going and buying packaged. Have you ever noticed that when someone makes you food, how great it tastes compared to maybe if you made the same thing?
Yes.
Yes. And I truly believe that's because that person is making it out of love. They're making your food. When mom cooks a meal, she's making that food because she wants you to be well nourished. She wants you to be satisfied. That food
Mm-hmm.
is made out of love. When you go pick a package of chicken nuggets and throw them in the oven or in the microwave, that food is not made with love. Someone else in a factory made that food, you know? So I really truly believe it tastes better when someone makes it for you.
I definitely agree.
It has
And
a different energy.
it does. It does. I do feel motivated to get in the kitchen. And as a matter of fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start today. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do enough, make enough that where I can make it 3 days without having to literally get in the kitchen and cook
Right.
from
Yeah.
just making prep, doing meal prep this week.
Right. Right. And the crock pot is great for those kinds of meals too. I know
Mm-hmm.
you're in Arizona, but like I would do a huge crock pot of chili.
That
And
sounds
then we could,
amazing.
right, then we could do that, every other day. We wouldn't have to have chili 7 days in a row, but we could have it every couple days. There's ways that you can only end up in the kitchen a few times a week for full on prep. But one of the things we like to do is a salad, a fresh salad every 3 days. One big salad, it'll last you 3 days, and then make the next one.
What kind of things do you guys put in your salad? Is it are your salads more than just like lettuce and tomato?
Yeah, it just, you know what, it depends on what the store has.
Oh, got it.
That's fresh. But, radishes, cucumbers, green peppers, yellow peppers, red peppers. I'll use apples or walnuts or, it isn't always vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I like to use different greens too, rather than just lettuce. So I like to use arugula and spinach and dandelion greens and make a mixture of them rather than the same typical stuff.
I tried this meal where so I use the green leaf lettuce, iceberg lettuce, red leaf lettuce, tortilla chips, red kidney beans, a little bit of corn, boiled egg, ground turkey, salsa, a little bit of ranch dressing that you can home make.
Almost like a taco salad.
Yeah. And I said, just try it. And they loved it.
That's wonderful. You can find anything online and change it up to work for you.
But I am really happy that you were able to come on the show. It's been really fun.
It has. I really appreciate it. I have one quote that I love by Louise Hay that kind of embodies holistic nutrition. And it goes like this. For us to become whole and healthy, we must balance the body, mind, and spirit. We need to take good care of our bodies. We need to have a positive mental attitude about ourselves and about life. And we need to have a strong spiritual connection. When these three things are balanced, we rejoice in living. No doctor or health practitioner can give us this unless we choose to take part in our healing process. And I couldn't agree more with Louise Hayes on that aspect. Ultimately, it's up to the individual person on whether or not they're going to heal.
I absolutely love it. And I say keep on posting on your Facebook, your Instagram. Keep doing you. I love that your purpose is to educate us, to open our minds. And I love that you shared the story of what happened with your kids, reducing the medications and
yeah,
so
I feel like our country is, we're so knowledgeable, but we're one of the sickest ones.
I agree 100%. But thanks to people like you, Sandi, and the others that are sharing their voices and educating us, I mean, who knows? Maybe we'll get to a place where we don't have as much sickness and where we're taking control of different things that are happening with us and, with us as adults, with the kids. And I think it's kind of sad that they'd rather push the pharmaceutical companies.
Right.
And make them rich and not really get to the root of the problem. Because a lot of those medications, I think, that they're putting people on, have you ever noticed, Sandi, when you hear those commercials, how there's that little guy, the guy that talks at the end of the commercial, this will cause,
right,
and it
all
gives
the side effects.
Yes. And it's when they're done, one of the commercials, I'm not kidding you, it felt like they were talking for 15 seconds on things that it could cause as far as side effects. It may cause your liver to collapse. It may cause your heart to fail. It may cause, and it was a ton of different things to where I was like, well, gee whiz, what's the point,
Exactly. Sometimes the risk is not worth the small benefit.
That is so true.
Your diet is not only what you eat, it is what you watch, what you listen to, what you read, the people you hang around. Being mindful of the things you put into your body, emotionally, spiritually, and physically.
That was an amazing show. I hope that everyone was able to have a takeaway from the show today. One of the things that I was impressed or just really it resonated with me was the fact that the children were able to all be healed basically by having their diets change, and I thought that that was awesome. It's an amazing time in our culture. We have become open to understanding how foods play a major role in our lives. Please tag me on Instagram if you listen to this show. I will be so excited and appreciative of that tag. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm Shanta with Authentic Talks.
To hear the full episode of this podcast and others, look for Authentic Talks on Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many more. They can be found on the About section of this channel. Thank you for your continued support of Authentic Talks.